Welcome guys to my new video. In this video I will start solving problems about the computer basics. So first of all, like my video, subscribe to my channel, and let's start our video. Name at least 5 basic components of a computer system and briefly describe their functions. In our computer we have the CPU, it's the brain of the computer. We have the random access memory, or the RAM and ROM. We have the hard disk, the motherboard. The motherboard, it's held the component to communicate between them. And finally, the power supply. Let's see the solution. The central processing unit, or the CPU, it executes instructions from software and coordinates the activities of all other hardware components. The random access memory, or RAM, temporarily stores data and instructions that the CPU needs while performing tasks. The hard drive, it stores data and applications. The motherboard is a circuit board that connects all the components of the computer and allows them to communicate between them. Finally, the power supply unit, or PSU, it provides power to all components of the computer. This is the solution of the first exercise. 2. What is the operating system, and give 2 examples of operating system. The operating system acts as an interface between the software and different parts of the computer, or the computer hardware. In our life, we know 2 operating systems, the Microsoft and Linux. Let's see the solution. An operating system, OS, is a software that manages computer hardware and software resources and provides common service of computer programs. Example of the operating system, we have the Windows 10 and the Mac OS. And the Linux also is an operating system. Number 3, match the following file extensions with their corresponding file type. docx, it's a Word document. GPG, it's an image file. MP3, it's an audio file. PDF, it's a portable document format. And XLSX, it's an Excel. And this is the solution. Now exercise 4. What are the keyboard shortcuts for the following action in most Windows operating system? Copy. To copy, for example, a text, we put Ctrl C. To paste, Ctrl V. To cut, for example, a text, a word, an image, we use Ctrl X, and to undo, we use Ctrl Z. And this is the solution. Copy, Ctrl plus C, paste, Ctrl plus V, cut, Ctrl plus X, and undo, Ctrl plus Z. Exercise number 5. Name 3 popular internet browsers. Internet browser like Google, Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, Safari, etc. This is the internet browser that we know. 6. What is the difference between the internet and the internet? The internet is a private network, but the internet is a global network of interconnected computers that communicate freely. This is the difference between them. Internet is a global network of interconnected computers that communicate freely. The intranet is a private network accessible only to an organization's staff. This is the difference between the internet and the intranet. Now the difference between the system software and application software with an example for each other. Let's start with the system software. The system software, like the Windows OS, it's a software designed to provide a platform. But the application software, like the Microsoft Word, it's a software designed to help the user to perform her specific tasks, for example, to make a search, to communicate with someone, etc. System software is a software designed to provide a platform for other software, for example, Windows. And application software is a software designed to help the user perform specific tasks, like the Microsoft Word, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Edge, and other components. In number 8, we need to arrange the following data storage units in ascending order of size. Let's start. We have the kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, and terabyte. Number 9, list 3 practices to ensure safe computing. Safe computing, we have use strong, unique password, and change the password, for example, each month, each week. Install and update the antivirus software, and finally, back up your information. This is the 3 tips to ensure the safe computing. Change the password, for example, each week, each month. Install and update the antivirus, and back up your data and the information. Number 10, describe 2 basic computer maintenance tasks to keep a computer running smoothly. We have the disk cleanup. It's removing unnecessary files to free up space to the hard drive. And second, the software updates, regularly updating the operating system and applications to ensure they have the last security patch and features. This is the 2 basic computer maintenance tasks to keep the computer running smoothly. 7. List of the main components of a desktop computer and briefly describe their functions. In a desktop computer, we have the motherboard. It's a circuit board that contains the CPU, the RAM, storage, etc. It's not contain the storage, but it helps the computer to work. Second, we have the CPU. The CPU is the brain of the computer, and it's the most important component of a computer. We have the GPU. GPU is the graphic processing unit. We have the storage, HDD and SSD. We have the power supply unit, the cooling system, optical drive, the peripheral interface like the USB port, audio jack. It helps to connect a component to our computers. And finally, we have the case. Let's see the solution of this exercise. We start with the motherboard, the main circuit board that houses all the CPU, RAM, and other essential components. CPU is the brain of the computer that performs instructions defined by the software. RAM, or random access memory, temporary storage that holds data and instructions for quick access to the CPU. GPU, Graphic Processing Unit. It handles rendering of images, video, and animations. Storage, HDD or SSD. It stores all the data, the software, and the operating system. Power supply unit, it converts electricity from the outlet into usable power of the computer's components. Cooling system, prevent the computer from other heating, including the fans and the heat sinks. Optical drive, read and write the data from CD, DVD, Blu-rays. The peripheral interface, USB port, audio jacks, for connecting the external devices. Finally, the case, it encloses and protects all the internal components. This is what contains the desktop of the computer. Now exercise number 12. We need to explain the role of the CPU on the motherboard. The CPU on the central processing unit, it's a primary component responsible for executing instruction and processing the data in a computer. This is the role of the CPU. The CPU is the brain of the computer and it's the most important component of a computer. The CPU or the central processing unit is a primary component responsible for executing instructions and processing data in a computer. It performs the basic arithmetic and logical control and input-output operations specified by the instructions in the computer program. This is the importance of the CPU on the motherboard. Let's go to the exercise number 13 and describe the function of the RAM in a desktop computer. First, the RAM is a volatile memory that stores data and instruction that the CPU needs while performing tasks. It allows for quick read and write access to a storage medium that is faster than traditional storage options. This is the function of the RAM on a desktop computer. Number 14. What is a computer network? A computer network is a collection of interconnected devices that are communicate and share resources such as data, file, like printer, internet connection. It can be a median of a computer that are connected between them to share data, to share information, image. For example, in a department, we have, for example, 10 computers. This computer is communicate between them. For example, if I need to print something, I connect my computer to the printer. This is the importance of the computer network. A computer network is a collection of interconnected devices that can communicate and share resources such as data files, printers, and internet connections. These devices communicate using a set of protocols over wired or wireless connection. Exercise number 15. What is the difference between a LAN and WAN? LAN is a local area network, is a network that converts a small geographic area, but the WAN is a wide area network. It converts a large geographic area. This is the difference between them. LAN or local area network is a network that converts a small geographic area, such as a single building or a campus. It is typically used to connect computers and devices with a localized area for resource sharing and communication. WAN, or Wide Area Network, it covers a large geographic area, often spanning cities, countries, or even continents. It connects multiple LAN together, usually through public network like the internet or leased line. This is the difference between the local area network and the wide area network. Exercise 16. Explain the role of the router in a network. The router are an essential for communication between and a device on a different networks, including between a home network, for example, and the internet. Let's see the solution. A router is a networking device that forwards data packets between computer networks. It connects different networks, directing the data to its intended IP address and ensuring that information reaches the correct destination. The router are an essential for enabling communication between the device on a different networks, including between a home network and the internet. This is the role of a router. Now let's describe what an IP address is. IP address, IP, it's an internet protocol address, is a unique identifier assigned to each device connected to a network. The Internet Protocol address is a unique identifier assigned to each device connected to a network. It serves two main purposes: identifying the host or the network interface and providing the location of the host in the network. This is the importance of the IP address. 18. Explain the function of the DNS server. What is a DNS? DNS is the domain name system server. It translates human readable domain name into IP address that computer use to identify each other on the network. DNS servers allow users to access websites and other resources using easily memorable names instead of numerical IP address. Now explain the concept of the network topology and name three common types. What is the network topology? A network topology defines the layout and the structure of the network and how the construction are communicated between them. We have three common types: bus topology, ring topology, and star topology. Network topology refers to the arrangement of different elements, links, nodes, etc. in a computer network. It defines the layout and structure of the network, determining how devices are interconnected and communicate with each other. We have three common types of a network topology. One, bus topology. In the bus topology, all the devices are connected to a single central cable called the bus. Data sent by one device and available to all other devices on the network. 2. Star topology. In the star topology, all the devices are connected to a central hub or switch. Data is sent from one device to the hub, which then forwarded to the destination device. 3. Ring topology. In the ring topology, devices are connected in a circular fashion, with each device connected to two other devices. Data travels in one direction around the ring until it reaches its destination. This is the network topology and the 3 common types of the network topology. 18. Define the term application software. Application software is an application that can be installed on a computer or on our phone. It helps us to make a search, for example. It can be a game, an application like the Facebook, WhatsApp, etc. This is the application software. Application software refers to a programs designed for end users to perform specific tasks such as word processing, web browsing, or gaming. What is the function of a web browser? Web browser is a software used to access and view websites on the internet. For example, include Chrome, Safari, and the Firefox. This is the function of the web browser. Now, what is the difference between the system software and the application software? The system software, it includes the operating system, for example, Windows, Linux, Mac OS, for example. But the application software, it includes the application on the operating system, like the Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft PowerPoint. The system software includes the operating system and the managed computer resources, while the application software is designed to help users perform the specific tasks. Now, exercise 21, explain the difference between the Wi-Fi and the Ethernet. Wi-Fi is a wireless network technology. It allows the devices to connect to a network without cable. The Ethernet is a wired networking technology that uses cable to connect device to a network. Okay, the Wi-Fi help the device to connect without cables, but the Ethernet, it allow the device to connect to the network using a cable. This is the difference between the Wi-Fi and the Ethernet. 22. Define database. What is database? Database is like tables that help the user to store their data and informations. Let's see the solution. And the database is an organized collection of data typically stored and accessed electronical form from a computer system. It allows for the efficient and it helps to manage the data. Exercise 23. What is a database management system? DBMS. The DBMS interface for user is a software that provides an interface for users and applications to interface with the database. It helps manage data, the database engine, and the database schema to facilitate the organization and manipulate of data. This is the importance of the DBMS. Exercise 24, explain the concept of the relational database. A relational database is a type of database that stores data in tables which are related to each other through common files. It uses the structured query language SQL. SQL is a magic language for the database. Now, what is a table in database? A database is a collection of related data organized into row and column within a database. Each row represents a record and each column represents a file or attribute of the data. The table in database, it helps us to put our data and information that can be clearly. For example, we can put, if I have a library, we can make a table to put the name of the book and the price. Now exercise 23, define the term primary key in the context of database. The primary key is a unique identifier for a record in a database. It ensures that each record is distinct and can be referenced uniquely. This is the importance of the primary key in database. Now, what is a foreign key? A foreign key is a file in one table that uniquely identifies a row of another table. It is used to establish and enforce a link between the data in two tables. This is the difference between the primary key and the foreign key. #28. Explain what a database schema is. Database schema is the structure that defines the organization of a data within a database. It includes table, relationship, view, index, and other elements that make up the database. Now, what is the SQL? SQL, or the Structured Query Language, is a standard programming language used to manage and manipulate relational database. It is used to query, updating, and managing data. This is the importance of the SQL, and the SQL is the most important language in the database. #13. What is a database index? A database index is a data structure that improves the speed of data retrieval operations on a database table at the cost of additional storage space and maintenance. Indexes are used to quickly locate and access the data without having to search every. This is the database index. #31. Name 3 types of secondary storage devices. We have the hard disk drive HDD, solid state drive SSD, and the USB flash drive. Now, name two common file systems used in operating system. We have the NTFS, or the New Technology File System. It's common use in Windows. But the ext4 is the fourth extended file system. It's used in the Linux. Windows and Linux are an operating system. Why regular data backup? It's important. We make the backup of our data to protect our data. Regular data backup is important to protect against data loss due to the hardware failure, accidental deletion, malware, or other unforeseen events. It ensures that data can be recovered and operations can continue with minimal disruption. The backup is very important to our phones and our computers. 34. What is cloud storage, and name two popular cloud storage providers. A cloud storage is a service model in which data is maintained, managed, and backed up remotely and made available to users over the internet. The popular cloud storage providers is Google Drive and Dropbox. What are the primary functions of the following Internet protocol: HTTP, HTTPS, and FTP? HTTP, it's the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is used for transferring web page on the Internet. The HTTPS is the Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure. It's an extension of the HTTP and provides secure communication over a computer network. Now, what is the FTP? It's the File Transfer Protocol. Is used to transferring files between a client and a server on a computer network. (36) What is the primary purpose of encryption in ICT? Encryption is used to protect data by converting it into a code to prevent the access. It ensures confidently and data integrity during the storage and transmission. This is the importance of the encryption in ICT. Now the difference between the RAM and ROM. The RAM, it's a random access memory, it's a volatile memory, is used to store data temporarily while the computer is on. It allows to quick read and write access to a storage medium. But the ROM, read-only memory, it's a non-volatile memory that permanently stores firmware and system software that is not meant to be modified frequently. This is the difference between RAM and ROM. 37. Describe the main difference between HDD and SSD. The HDD, the hard disk drive, is used spinning magnetic disks to read and write data. It typically has a large storage capacity but a slower access speed. But the solid-state drive, the SSD, is used a flash memory to store data. It has a faster access speed, lower latency, and no moving parts, making it more durable and efficient. This is the difference between the HDD and the SSD. Now, name 3 common peripheral devices and their functions. We have the keyboard. It's an input device used to type data into the computer. The mouse is an input device, also is used to point, click, and interact with the computer's graphical user interface. The monitor is an output device that displays the visual information from the computer. Now 39. What is the power supply unit important in a computer? The importance of the power supply. The power supply converts the electrical power from an outlet into usable power for the internal component of the computer. It supplies power to the motherboard, CPU, RAM, and other components, ensuring the computer operates correctly. The CPU is very important to our program, to our computer. What is the purpose of the GPU in our computer? The GPU of the graphic processing unit is responsible of rendering image, animations, and video for the computer's display. It offloads these tasks from the CPU, allowing for better performance in graphics-intensive applications like gaming, video editing, and 3D rendering. This is the importance of the graphic processing unit. Now, 41. What is the function of a network interface card, NIC? A NIC, or the network interface card, allows a computer to connect to a network. It provides the hardware interface for a network connection, enabling the computer to communicate with other devices over a local network or the internet. This is the importance of the network interface card. Now list and describe three different types of a software. We have a system software, includes operating system like the Windows, Linux, and Mac OS, and its utility programs that manage computer hardware and provide a platform for running application software. To the application software, programs designed to perform specific tasks for users such as the word processor, like the Microsoft Word, and the web browser like the Google Chrome, and media player like the VLC media player. And three, the development software. It's a tool and environment for developing software, including the programming language like the Python and the Java, compilers, and integrates development like the Visual Studio and Eclipse. Now 43. What is the difference between freeware and shareware? Freeware is a software that is completely free to use without a cost, but the shareware is a software that is used on a trial basis. Users are encouraged to try the software and pay. The user pay for this software to, for example, to communicate with someone, to share information, and etc. The freeware is free without any cost, but the shareware we need to pay to the software. Now a list and describe three different files type commonly found in a computer. We have the document files. This includes the text file, word processing file, and speech sheet. We have the image file. This includes various formats like the JPG, PNG, and GIF. We have the executable file. These are files that run programs such as the exe on a Windows and the sh on the Unix and Linux. This is the file type found in our computer. 45. explain the stored program concept in the von Neumann architecture. The stored program concept states that the instructions for a program are stored in the computer's memory along with the data. This allows the CPU to execute instructions and facilitating easier reprogramming and flexibility. This is the stored program concept in the von Neumann architecture. Now, what is the role of the bus system in the von Neumann architecture? Bus system is a communication pathway that connects the CPU, memory, and input-output devices. It allows data, instructions, and control signals to be transferred between these components. Now explain the role of the control unit and the arithmetic logic unit in the CPU. The CU or the control unit, it interprets the instructions in the memory and cause them be executed. But the arithmetic logic unit, it performs mathematical operation and the logic operation in the CPU. It's like a calculator. Control unit directs the operation of the processor, controlling the fetching, decoding, and execution. It manages the flow of data within the CPU and between the CPU and the memory. Arithmetic logic unit performs arithmetic like the addition, multiplication, and the logic like and or not operations on data. Now compare the von Neumann architecture and the hardware architecture. Von Neumann architecture is used a single memory space for both instructions of data. Its instructions and data share the same bus, causing the von Neumann bottleneck. The hardware architecture uses separate memory space on instruction and data and separate the bus of instruction and data. This is the difference between the von Neumann architecture and the hardware architecture, but in our computers today we use the von Neumann architecture. Now, what is the primary key? A primary key is a unique identifier for a record in a database table. It ensures that each record can be uniquely identified. A table can have only one primary key and it can consist of one multiple column. Finally, what are the types of relationship between a table? We have three types: one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. One-to-one relationship, each record in table A corresponds to exactly one record in table B and vice versa. And one-to-many is a single record in a table A can be associated with multiple records in table B, but each record in table B is associated with only one record in table A. Many-to-many, multiple records in table A can be associated with multiple records in table B. This type relationship typically requires a junction or associative table. This is the three types of relationships between the tables.